Hey guys, we're back again. Paint with Josh in the studio with you. Getting my liquid clear, and just my arm is about to fall off from the size of this canvas. So, whew, you guys got to check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there. This is a monster. It's a 22 by 28 inch canvas. And you don't get them black in that size. They only come white. And so in order to make it black, we covered it with our Liquitex black gesso. And it made our entire white canvas black. Then I took my white gesso and made a little black hole. And then I made my little planets and added the stars and stuff. And those are all acrylic paint, right? Those are all dried already. So we can take our liquid clear or linseed oil. It's very similar to linseed oil. Linseed oil is a little bit thinner though, so you have to use much less and spread it much further. There we go. Now, when you're putting this stuff on, your arm should get tired. I literally have to switch because my arm is so tired already. Maybe from doing too many paintings today. Maybe I'm just getting old and I need to go to the gym a little bit more often than never. That would probably help just to get some muscle back. There we go. Now, all we're doing, covering the canvas with our liquid clear because we need a wet surface for all of our paints to slide and blend across. Right? Now, if we were to try to paint the dry canvas with just our regular oil paints that we're going to use, our very thick paints, you would need to put this much pressure and this much blending and scrubbing in order for those paints to spread out thin enough to work correctly. Okay. Now, I saved this last spot down at the bottom because we did a seascape last show, and I'm pretty sure there's white paint right here. There so was. And that would have gotten my black canvas white on the bottom, which we don't want. Right? So while I'm finishing scrubbing on this canvas and putting my liquid clear away, you guys are going to check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there in the night. Just wherever you're from. And I didn't get any excess clear. I didn't get any new paint. You see what happens though when you get white on your black canvas? It takes a lot of spreading around to make it disappear. Okay? We don't want our canvas to be white. That's why we're painting on a black canvas today. So, excellent, okay? Now, we can darken that by the time we put our undercolors on. But now that our canvas is nice and covered fully with all of our liquid clear, and we spread it very evenly, then we're going to wipe off the excess, okay? You have to wipe off whatever you just put on because you probably put on too much. And just like me, right, it still happens to me. We put on too much paint sometimes, and then that has the ability to drip in the night. And if it drips, yeah, if it drips, then it's going to take color away as it goes away, right? So wipe off all that excess, and then we'll put on our clear, we'll put on our undercolors. All the undercolors, man. The undercolors. Now, when I want a little black hole, okay, a lot of things are happening around that black hole, which cause a lot of light and a lot of heat to be generated. So we're going to use a little of our Indian yellow, and we're going to put it across our black hole area. Now, the Indian yellow is a transparent color shown right here, right? You can only see the yellow when it crosses the white, right? You can't see the yellow when it's across the black. That is the definition of a transparent color. Now, we just need to put a little bit of color out there. The more that we spread it, the more it's going to ignite any other bits of white that it touches. So if we get down here into this little planet or our stars right here, they're going to pick up that color. We don't need the entire sky to be bright. I just wanted this one little spot of our black hole out there be a little bit brighter than the rest. And now to make it even brighter, we're going to take the smallest amount of our titanium white, and we're going to try not to make it try to get into that black. Oh, look at that. Look at what happens when you just whip a little color out there. Just like that. Hanging out on both sides, looking like a really cool little black hole. And we didn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? Paint was already there. Swipe it. Boom. Nice and neat. That's cool. Now, we don't need all this yellow color on our brush anymore. So if we can dab it off on a paper towel, that's cool. If not, then we'll make it, we'll go wash it, right? I don't really necessarily need to wash too much of mine. What we're going to do first is take our phthalo green, because I love this color right here. We're going to make just a little aurora out there in the night. right? Just need a little of the phthalo green, and then we're going to push it. It doesn't need to be very heavy. Okay, all we need it to be is back behind our little mountainous region back here. So we'll take our phthalo green, and you might be able to see it a little bit, but we don't want to have it too heavily on the canvas. So like I said, if you go across a white area, you can turn a white star green without having everything else be green. That's the cool part about these undercolors, okay? I'm going to dab off that color. I'm going to come in here and grab a little of my madder carmine, and we're going to put it right above that guy. Just a little. Now remember, we have to spread it out without hitting our planets and allow it to be there so that our colors will ignite. Just a little. We don't need them to be too crazy, but we need it to be there. And if it's not there, then it won't ignite our white, right? We won't have anything to play with. There, that's literally all I want. Just a little bit of our undercolor back there. And then we're going to come in with our titanium white. Little touch, okay? Let's just say we had this whole little wiggle right down there. Boom, boom, boom. Remember, we're going to cover up the majority of this little guy out here. So if we take that paint, that white paint, and we push on it real hard and we drag it up, right? Depending on how much paint is there, some might drag more than others, right? So if you don't have enough, let's get back in here, add a little bit more of our white, right? Just kind of messily putting along the top so that it will drag out randomly, right? Again, push it on there rough. There, drag that guy upwards. Up and up and up it goes. Where it stops, only you knows. All we need is that little faded little bit of color out here. So soft, so gentile. It's not really taking up too many things, okay? It's really cool. I like that. I like it. We could even do more. I mean, we could do more, but we're going to put our mountain up there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, all we needed was a little touch of brightness back here, and maybe we'll do another one below it. Let's do one more little guy, just so we have some bit of color that our mountain can stand out against. All right, so depending on how much brightness we put down there, how much color gets left behind, right? We just need a little bit so we can come up here and basically like we do with my gloves right here, right? Just gonna pop our mountain up there. So we get a little bit of color off of one side, a little bit of color off the other side. That's all you really need. You don't really need anything too much. We can even take this guy, dip him down over there. We could drag more paint. You could put more there and have more of it drag up. It's all up to you. Seriously, you can do it. You guys can do all of these things, right? There. Drag up kind of behind our little planet. Woo! It's fantastic. I'm telling you guys, the more you do, the more it's going to drag. We didn't put a whole lot of paint up here, so we have to use a lot of force, a lot of times in order for it to kind of dissipate, right? Mix that thing away so we can't see our vertical streaks anymore. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Now remember, you guys can get this one. You can go to PaintWithJosh.com, grab this one up for yourself right there. PWJ.info works as well. You just have to get there and grab it right here during the live show. Come back, tell us what to name the painting, right? You get to choose the title when you grab it during the live show. Now, let's take, you know what we're going to do too? Just, oh, who knows, Josh? What should we do is the question. Let's add a little bit more of our undercolor. Let's take a little bit of our blue, just a little touch. I want to put it down here, just underneath our brightness, right? So that we have some sort of color kind of to mix our mist with at the base of our mountain. So we'll take a little of our phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, it doesn't really matter. Phthalo blue, Prussian blue, ultramarine blue, they're all the same. If I even mix over this guy or drag that blue up into there, you can change these colors. Guys, are going to be so cool. Now, I want to take a little touch of white, just a little bit, and underneath this guy, we're just going to brighten up our sky, just to have a little bit of space underneath there for our mountain to kind of cut back into. Right on this side, we should have enough, but let's just get it a little brighter right up here, a little bit of white, mixing in with those undercolors, right? You have to have the color underneath first before you decide to brighten it. There we go. Now it's going to look cool. Now, let's take our plaque mix. We're going to go with our big, huge amount of it and decide maybe it gets way up here on this guy, right? We are in control of what our little mountain shape looks like, how big it gets, how far the paint extends, right? Do we want to have a little dip? Maybe there's a little projection right there. and then it dips down underneath. It doesn't have to be supremely pointy, right? It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line. You could have another little projection here or there or wherever. And we're really only focusing on where we want stuff, right? How do you want yours to look? Do you want it to have a flat edge on the back here? You really want it to be dark and black out all the color underneath it? You got to put a lot of paint up here, right? We're in control. Then we get to shape it based off how we brush it out, right? So it doesn't really matter what it looks like until we get up there with our brush. There. Oh, that's going to be a nice one. I can already see it. Now, we'll get up here with our big old 2-inch brush, and you don't have to use your 2-inch brush. You can use your 1-inch brush if you want. Push it and slide it down, right? The reason we added this light paint is so that we could see where this mountain is coming down, right? You guys are in total control of what your mountains look like, okay? If you have no paint underneath here, and it's just black canvas, it's going to be hard to tell where everything is. All right, we're going to come off the back side of this guy, bounce him down, slide him over here, come up and meet our ridge, right? We don't need to have a straight line straight down the middle, but we do need to split the mountain in half. And so I use this kind of a parentheses shape, this little arc right here, kind of coming down, and then we flatten off. Boom. So then when we're pulling off of our backside, we're meeting it at that arch and then pulling it the opposite direction, right? That way you'll get much more of a 3D kind of a mountain without having to do much. And it's kind of telling us already where to put things already. You know, where are we going to put our highlights? Well, it's already telling us where to go. Look at those cool auroras back there. Just a little bit of fading light up into the night sky. That's excellent. Dude, you want to know one more cool little thing? You could even take a bit of blue or purple or green or whatever and color in or color over this little friend up there and turn him into a little bluey, little, just an Earth-like Dagobah system planet right there. That's fabulous. This little Earth-like bluey out there. Look at the distance and depth already, you guys. Now, we need to get a little bit more blue paint so we can make our highlights and stuff. So while I'm doing that, you guys check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there. Good night. Just let us know, man. I like talking to you guys back and forth. Dude, what's up with the TikTok numbers? So Facebook won't connect, Instagram won't connect, and no one's watching. Well, not as many people as normal are watching. You got people on YouTube over there? That's good. If you can't see it, you know, or it doesn't work, or you're not, you know, it doesn't go to your platform as easily as we want it to, because sometimes it just doesn't connect, then check it out on somewhere else. That's looking really cool. Okay, now we've got our white and our blue. We're going to come down here, grab up a little white, little bit of blue. We're going to mix those guys up together. Now remember, this one is available. You can grab this guy. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to have this little lake underneath our mountain scene, very much like Terry did my black and white scene. Put a little lake underneath the mountain and then put some trees and stuff and some snow down around the bottom. Oh, it's going to be fabulous. A little bit of our plaque mix into that bluey, shadowy highlight, just to give it a little bit more of a bluey gray feel. Right? It doesn't have to be sky blue. There, that's gorgeous. Now, we don't need too much of our shadowy paint. And before we even use any of it, let's go grab about twice the amount of the titanium white that we grabbed before, one little tiny bit of the blue that we had just made, so that it becomes a much brighter version of that same blue. Right? We don't want to go up here and grab the fresh blue, otherwise we're going to remake our same color, right? But if we got this white and then this blue as our shadows, they should play off really, really, really cool. So, deciding where our light is coming from, oh, it could be literally anywhere. It doesn't have to be from the black hole, doesn't have to be from these planets or whatever, right? So let's decide. Let's put it on our right-hand side, meaning we're going to take our blue first and go off of our left-hand side. Right? So we're floating down the canvas, getting about as close to the canvas as we can get without touching it, right? We don't need to push on the canvas. We don't want the canvas to move. We don't want it to bend inwards. We don't want to push too hard. We don't need anything out there being too smushed, right? That's the whole key. Now, you also don't have to cover all of this black, right? You can leave a couple little bits out there. Maybe there was another little ridge that ran down through this guy. Who knows, right? But we're pulling all the blue in the same direction. That way, you can go back and pull all your white in the same direction and have them line up, right? Maybe we got a little valley down in here. Oh, it's going to be fabulous. Okay, now let's get back in here with our white. Again, scooping up a little roll. We're going to attach, and then we're going to hover and float down. And just very lightly, without even pressing in on the canvas, just allowing the canvas's rough edge, or rough texture, right, to grip the paint and pull it off. That's all. You don't have to do much else, right? You don't want to push. You don't want to smoosh. You don't want to do anything out there too heavily, because you're going to mix all this white color with all that dark color. The more that you push on it, the less white it's going to become, right? Slide it down, let it just fall off the blade. Different heaviness. Sometimes it's a little thicker in some places, sometimes it's thinner in other places. All up to us. Let's grab a little touch, come up here along the top, and let's just start dropping down, and then starting to get flatter as you go down. You cannot just take the whole thing and just be straight vertical all the way down to wherever, right? It has to start flattening out eventually at some point. Get back here, start taking this guy down. This one is looking so good already, you guys. If you guys don't nab this one up, I'm telling you, it will not be there. I will take it out and keep it at my own house, because this one's coming out too fabulous. Look at that. Especially when we get in here with the secret final ridge of our zigzag glacier back here. That's going to look really cool. All right, the more we come down, the more we're kind of feeding into that little valley area that was there. And we can't just make it a straight line. Okay, I've seen a couple of you guys send in reference photos. It's just a straight line down, so make it kind of come off a little bit in some places. Maybe go over here or down or up higher again. Right? All up to us. We get to choose. Anywhere that you put that white, let's try to sneak just a little bit of our blue back in behind it. There. That's looking cool. That is cool. Dudes, you guys can do this. I'm super, super serial. You can do it without even trying, honestly. If I can do it, you guys can do it, that's for sure. Okay, let's get the last little bit of our white, feed it down into that open area. Just let these guys kind of blend. We don't need them to touch at the top. Okay, they can if you want, but you don't need them to touch up there. Take the last little bit of our white, fill up this section pretty good, let it feed down, and then we know we're going to mist up the whole bottom of it anyway, so we don't really need to go too far with anything. With this paint, with this guy, nothing out there has to do anything, you guys. God, that looks so cool. Now, let's take our brush. We're going to wash off this big old 2-inch brush. So while I'm washing off this brush, could you guys just check out these cool little commercial break for me? Just real quick. It only takes a minute or two. But not even that, like 30 seconds. To just check out this cool little commercial, and I'll finish washing off this brush, and then we'll be right back after these words. Have you watched like 1,000 Paint with Josh videos and you just can't seem to get it right? Let's do a virtual class where I can show you how to use the brush, show you how to contact the canvas, pick up the camera, and show you angles you've never seen before in a Paint with Josh video. So check out the site, scroll down a little bit, see the calendar, book your day and your time, pick a virtual class, and then we'll meet up via video call. I'll email you and everything's going to be fantastic. So let's get back to the show and see what we've been up to while we've been gone. Let's see what we've been up to. That guy's a tool. Now, let's get in here. That guy's me, of course. Let's get in here. Very flat to the canvas. Very flat. Gives us a very soft touch. Right? If we're out here, we're trying to sweep. We can't control our pressure. But if we're in here, just kind of grazing along, very lightly, going the opposite way to however we came down. So if we took our tool, let's say it was one of those double-sided ones, but just not as fun. Take this guy like this and go down this way, we would have to take the brush and go up. So if we took our blue side off of here, we would have to take the brush and go up the blue side, right? Very, very, very gently though. All you're doing is just softening the details at the base so that the top of the mountain looks a little bit more crisp and in focus, and the bottom of the mountain looks a little bit less, right? Don't have to hit it everywhere, but just softening those details, oh, it just adds so much, you guys. Oh, that's fabulous. Look at it. Now, we've got to come in here and make our mist. So we're just going to take the back corner of the brush and grab some of the paint and help tap it out very close to itself, right? I'm trying to kind of over exaggerate so you guys can see. They're just very small little tap lines tapping out the same way that the mountain was flowing down. And if you do it enough, right, then you kind of fill in all those little spaces. It starts looking more and more like mist. This area is where we're going to put our trees in next, right? So if you don't soften your paint along the side, then you go to put your trees on top and it's really going to be hard to do. Okay, it's just, I'm telling you, we do these things for a reason. I'm telling you, after however many thousands, literally, of paintings that I've done, over 2,244, because this is 2,245. So after all of that time, I'm telling you, so your painting journey becomes easier than mine, right? Again, if we're going off the blue side, we have to tap in that direction that it is flowing. Same thing, so we'll turn and tap off of this side. Feeding down that means taking away some of our details at the base. You have to, otherwise too much thick paint resides here. And then we're going to try to put our trees on top of that, right? Thick on thick on thick just doesn't work after a while. So you have to thin it down, soften it, make sure that it is less chunky than our mountain was, so that we can come in and put in some new layers of stuff. Now, let's just say maybe it's not as bright as you want it to be. You're like, oh, my mist, it just looks like the base of the mountain. It doesn't really stand out, this, that, and the other, right? We could come in here with a little fan brush and make like a little cloud right here at the bottom. Right? Remembering not to put on too much paint because we don't want it to be too big and too bright. Right? Get almost up there onto our little snowy bits. And then just literally mushing it, pushing it, spinning it, jiggling it around, trying to leave some stuff. That way, we can come up here with our brush and start to mix it like we do with our clouds. Right? You've seen me make clouds before. You've seen it. Right? Mix it down so you get this mistiness at the base. You can't see now the base of the mountain. And grab this guy. We spin it, you know, counterclockwise or clockwise or both. It doesn't matter. We're just trying to mix it up enough, right, to where we're not mixing everything the same. There's bright, dark, all over the place, right? Each one of these guys is up to us what we leave, and we know we're going to cover it anyway. So don't worry about it, and don't try to make it all the same same brightness. Let there be differences and darkness, and it looks really cool. Now, let's take our black mix. We're going to need to mix up just a little bit more, just so we can use it to black out all that mistiness that we just created, right? In order to project distance, you cannot just stack everything on top of itself. There has to be a layer in between. Now, whether that's a layer of mist or unpainted canvas or lighter color in front or behind a darker color or vice versa, right? We have to go in layers, guys. So, up into the misty layer is where we shall go with this big old brush right here, right? We're going to wiggle down, wiggle down, wiggle down, and the PaintWithJosh fan brush. This is the number 8 size. The new fan brushes are coming out very soon, right? We're talking about end of February, early March. They're talking the new fan brushes, and the new PaintWithJosh brush set will be released. So if you are wondering or hoping that maybe you could get a PaintWithJosh brush set this time, I suggest going over to Craft Ammo and signing up on the email list, right? There's an email list underneath my old brushes that are out of stock, that if you get signed up on that, right, then it's going to notify you when the new brushes drop, and then you'll be able to get in there and grab yours, right? The cool thing about the new brush set is that the fan brushes and the PaintWithJosh liner brush that everybody loves, those are going to be able to be purchased separately versus having to buy a whole new kit if you wanted to replace a certain thing, right? Not every time anymore do you have to buy a brand new kit in order to get a new liner brush or another fan brush or whatever. They're going to make all the fan brushes and liner brushes, and I think the filbert brush, available as single purchase items, so that if you just wanted the fan brushes, then get those. You know what I mean? If you just want the liner brush or just this or just that, you can get it. And all we're doing is just tapping in that thick paint along the base, making sure that it's a different height around where our mountain base is, right? Kind of covering up all that mistiness, popping up into it at certain places. Fabulous. Now I'll take our big old 2-inch brush, get up in here and start to kind of push on the paint, but only to flatten it and smush it together down here on the bottom. And then when we slide up, right, pulling our brush away, therefore, we're not dragging up into the mountain snow. So you shouldn't have too many little white brush marks down here, because you should be pulling away before you get to your mountain, right? Fabulous. Oh, that glare is just awful. Hang on. I wonder if we could do this. Hey, it worked a little bit. Little different. Still right in my eyes, though. Just don't look at that glary part. It's fine. Don't look at the glary part. Okay, now we're going to come in again, a little bit of white underneath that plaque mix of all those trees. And again, make a new little layer of mist, right? Doesn't have to be the purest of white paint or whatever, just another little layer of mist down around here, around the bottom, a little higher, a little lower in places. And then we can decide, what do we want to do, right? What do you do with all of this as we mix it up? Okay, we're going to grab some of the darkness, mix it down into the light. Take some of the light, mix it up into the dark. You can also smash it in like this, right? But that's going to take more room down here. It's going to put more paint on the canvas than we might want, right? So if you just get in here and just scrub it in, and if anything, I'm kind of tapping just to make the trees blend in to that dark paint. We only ever really show the top inch to 1.5 inches of those trees, right? So maybe here you get 1 to 2 inches, maybe smaller, bigger, smaller. And that way nothing out there is all the same. It's not just straight across. Even the misty fogginess has a bit of waviness to it, right? Woo-hoo, that's fantastic. Okay, I can now see a bit of my river coming. So I'm gonna get my blue pretty heavily onto the brush. We're gonna launch it out here pretty sideways, just getting lower and lower and lower each time, moving over one step at a time. And I know it's kind of hard to see, right, until we throw some white on there and really brighten it up. So over on this edge, we're gonna take it and push it over to the side and down, down, and down. I always like to make the undercolor section bigger than I'm going to use, so that just in case I accidentally go over into a spot, I know it has that paint there, right? Spread this paint out very thin. Again, doesn't even have to go side to side. We're only going to show it kind of, ooh, I figured, oh, you know what? We were going to do a little river and a lake, but this one's turning into such a cool little waterfall painting. We were going to put a lake, and then we were going to do, snowy bank in front of it and all this stuff. I like how this one's coming out right here. Goodness. I mean, we could still do, if I put the blue up here, let's just say we put the blue up into the mist, right? Let it kind of blend up into the mist like that. Huh? Yeah, I mean, okay, let's do it. I said I was going to do Harry's idea on what he did with my painting, and he put this lake in there, and I can see it now. I can just see it. And instead of just popping in another waterfall like we would normally do, you know what I mean? I've got tons of these little waterfall paintings. Let's get that lake in there very heavily. So we got our blue back there, very heavily, very flat, okay? Now, what I want to do, in order to make it look like water, we're going to take our liquid white and our titanium white, okay? We don't have any titanium white. Is it time for a commercial, London? And then I can go back and get some more titanium white out of the box. Yeah? Okay, so you guys check out this cool quick little 30-second commercial, and we'll be back right after these words.
Is that color? There it is, the Meaden brand. Oh, I love this brand, you guys. We talk about this brand all the time. Meaden, they're amazing. I'm going to take their website, and London's going to go, pow, it's right up there in the top. And if you use this promo code, popped up there as well, you're going to be able to save 15% off anything that you want to get, whether it's paint, easels, brushes, acrylic, watercolor, oils, tabletop, enormous easels. Everything you can get if you use that little promo code up there. So check them out. And until we see you guys again next time, let's pop back over to the show.
Let's pop back over to the show, everybody. That's fabulous. Yeah, that guy, I know. I agree. Okay, so we're going to get our liquid white and our titanium white, kind of mix them up in like a 50-50 mix. You don't need too much of either. It could be 60-40 titanium white to liquid white if you got that. That's fine. Right? Now, let's decide that back here, way back here, we put a little bit of that liquid white or titanium white back here. Both of them mixed together, not one or the other. But liquid white, titanium white, mix it together, okay? If you can lay it on here, kind of like we do with our seascapes, and you can pull it down, or you can just mush on a little line of it, right? Depending on how much is there is going to depend on how much grows, right? So if you put a lot there, it's really going to grow down a lot. If you put a little there, it's only going to grow a little, okay? So you kind of got to judge, what do you think it might look like? Okay? Doesn't even need to go side to side on either side, honestly. It doesn't have to be the same anywhere. It doesn't have to be perfectly connected. Seriously, make it look however, okay? Now, let's get in here with our big old 2-inch brush. We're going to take this guy, and we're going to pull down and down and down like we always do. Now, what does this look like to you? Does this look like wet, sandy beach? Does it look like a waterfall? Does it look like a lake? What do you feel like? What does that look like to you? And the more that I pull it down, right, the more of that color will drag downwards. So I can make it as big as I want. But what do you think? Now, what if we took all those verticalities, man, and we turned them into horizontalities and just didn't take away everything, right? We don't have to take away every piece of everything. But doesn't that look much more like a far away little embankment back here, right? And the more that we push on it, the more watery and glossy it shall become. Oh, it's fabulous, guys. Seriously, dudes. What if we wanted it a little bit brighter, just kind of right underneath our mountain, right? We don't really have to paint the reflection of the mountain. You could if you wanted to, but you don't really have to. We can take some of that lighter paint, get out there, pull down on this guy again, right? And then just not mix it too much. You can leave a little indication of a brighter thing out there. The more that you mix, the more all the same it's going to be. So where do you want to have a bit of brightness in your painting? If any, right? Up to you. Perfection. Now, we can again decide, do you want to have a little bit of land coming down back there? Maybe from the edge, we had a little thing and it was right here, just on our palette tool, scraping down, depositing a little bit of that paint, getting it down to the edge, okay? And then we can take our bigger brush and pull that guy. That way we're not really pushing our whole brush. We're not covering up too much paint, right? We're leaving little things out there in the night. Totally up to us. I don't want to see too much texture back here though. You know what I mean? If we've got lots of texture back there, then we know that it's close because we can see all the texture and stuff. And so if we put the paint out there and then brush it until it almost goes away, right? And you can decide how you want to have it look out there, but that's pretty cool. I like that. Little thing out there beyond the night. Okay, we need to mix up a whole big bunch more of our dark paint because if we're going to put some trees, actually I might have enough right here, but if we're going to put some trees and such, kind of going down and change the look of this painting, and who knows what it's going to look like until we get there. You know what I mean? That's the whole fun part. But let's get in here and let's start popping in a couple little bits of trees, right? Just like we were doing back there, except these guys are a little bit bigger. They're a little bit bigger. They're coming down here, up into the night and down, just covering up that whole watery lake back there, at least some of it anyway. Not all of it, of course. We're going to come up this side, right? There we go. So now we've trapped in that water behind this little bit of forest or whatever it is over here, okay? We can always choose what it looks like just based on how we paint the sucker. That is cool, man. Dude. So many ways you could go. You know what I mean? We could make the water look like it came around and this is just a little projection. We could do all sorts of stuff. Seriously. I could make it come up taller and then go down a little lower and then taller again and then lower, trapping in that water back there behind whatever we're in front of back here, right? We're up at an overlook, kind of looking out across the forest and this lake way down in the distance. All right, so put a little paint, a couple little sharp little tip toppies of our trees over there. And all of a sudden now we've kind of sealed that water back behind these trees, right? Which you wouldn't normally expect. You wouldn't normally expect that from old PaintWithJoshy. I can even come way up here, right? Make bigger trees. They got a couple little details that just stand out as they're a little closer than our friend is back there, right? They're closer than this water. They're standing up. They're saying, hey, look at me. I'm right here. Check me out. Look though. Look at all my branchies. Look at me hanging out right here with all my buds. Right? And they give us, our brain, the idea that there is all these little things out there are just smaller versions of that tree. And we know that they're a tree because we see a couple out of the entire thing, indicating, hey, okay, I know what those are now. Those are those big old pine trees out there, and there's lots of them. You know what I mean? Very cool. Again, you're deciding the shape, the darkness, and everything else. And then we'll come down here, and again, swipe up from the bottom, almost all the way through the top, seriously. Right? You don't want to go, especially not on your ones that you drew branches through. But just like that, again, sealing out any color beneath it. Now we got darkness down here, okay? Now, in order to help this area, we're going to mist it up, okay? And because there's already a little bit of bluey paint on my brush, it's kind of igniting this brightness down here. We can go back and make that brighter if we want. We can go back and make it darker if we want. We could leave it and not put anything at the bottom and just paint this whole bit of darkness all the way down. You know what I mean? Put one or two trees in there that, you know, have a couple branches, maybe put some highlights on them and you'd be good. But if you want to put something else, anything else down here, you have to soften the area first. And that is what this does. It smooshes and massages the paint together. Therefore, you can then put something else over the top of it without having to deal with all of that darkness. You know what I mean? I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you for a reason. I've done it before, millions of times. Now, if we've got all these trees, right, there's not a lot to focus on besides the mountain and the sharpness of our trees. So let's really make sure that these trees are sharp. Now, how do you get a sharp tree, London? You get the Paint with Josh fan brush. Hey! Yeah, I know. I love catching London off guard. That's the fun part. She's not expecting it. So over there, look, I haven't even looked, but I bet. She's looking at her phone. Ha! I saw it. I caught you. I even gave you the option, or gave you the heads up. So she's looking at her phone, so I love catching her off guard. It's fun. Okay, now we got to decide what lives on this side of the forest.
Show up trees.
I would say more snow. London, go back to your phone. I would say, and Terry thought when he did his kind of black and white Mount Hood version of my painting, and he put this little lake in, which is where we got this idea to do the lake, right? God, if it doesn't look just so stinking cool, by the way. Thanks, T-Dog, for the inspo. A couple little bits. Remember, not everything out there has to have a detail. You don't have to have little bits. I'm trying not to hit any areas of my trees. Just a little thing out there, okay? Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. And if you didn't like it, you could get rid of it with your big old 2-inch brush by swiping down, softening over. You know what I mean? All these things, guys, are up to us. Holy cow! Okay, let's grab a little touch of our titanium white onto our fan brush, which we still haven't washed, still nasty and dirty and gross. Okay, come down here, and again, we're going to make our mistiness. Okay, so since we did it first and it wasn't too bright, let's get in here and do it again with more paint. Okay, so we're smushing on all this darkness again, doing the exact same thing that we've done at the base of our mountain, at the base of the trees back here, at the base of these, you know what I mean? It's just over and over. It's the same thing, so that you can learn them and then go apply them to different paintings. Right? Now, like I was telling you, if it gets too bright, we can always go back and make it darker, so don't worry about that. You can also make sure, or need to make sure anyway, that this is darker than white, right? If it's pure white and it hasn't mixed with this dark paint at all, then we're going to be in trouble, right? Because we need to put some pure white in front of it to be our snow. So don't allow it to be too pure white. If anything, grab some of the dark paint from above the trees, tap it down, go back up and down and up and down. Literally, so that it's not the same all the way across. And the more that you sit in one place and just smush that one place, the more it will dissipate. You know what I mean? If I just sat here without even moving and just tapped at this one spot, right? Just continue. Look at how dark it got compared to the spots around it, right? So you're in control of how you want it to look. Now remember, we're not dragging the paint down. I see people do that even in my classes in the studio. They go drag it down. No, we're bouncing, hitting it, bouncing, bounce, bounce with just the corner, the top corner, right? You can even see it's darker than the rest of the bristles, just the top corner. And that way, the brush will stop itself. And then you back up and go a little bit lower, and you back up and go a little bit lower. And you just, not brushing it. Don't swipe it. Swiper, no swipey around here, okay? Now, even here, we can choose to add a whole nother layer of this forest, which would stand out amongst all this darkness back here and would look really cool. But you can also do this. We'll take a bit of our white, a bit of our titanium white. Oof, what if we came back like that? Started piping it in back there, right? This little kind of a, almost like a U shape, but very shallow U shape. Look at that though. The more that we add, right, the more it's going to grow, getting taller and also lower. Oh, look at it. You guys, look at this one, right? Then we're getting flatter over here. So you're almost treating it like a fan, with this being the center area. So you're going flat and then a little bit more and more and more and more severe. Brushing this stuff out, giving us a little snowy meadow down here along the bottom. You guys, look at that. Isn't that fabulous? All the things we can do. Now, if we lay it on a little heavier, and we say, you know what? Ooh, there's a real bright spot back there. Right now, how much, how bright, how long do you want this to go? How many little hills or little dips or little shadows in between the dips? And all these, when I dip, you dip, we dip, all over the place. Right? No one else? That's fine. It's only London that laughed. That's fine. He's laughed at my dumb jokes for a long time. Look at that. Okay. We can even add further depth by adding a couple foreground trees that stand up here, right? And in order to do that, we're going to need to mix up a little bit more of our Paint with Josh plaque mix, which is what, guys? Do you know the three colors? Do you know the Muffin Man, or the three colors that it takes to make Paint with Josh plaque? Because I sure do. It's blue, crimson, and black. Okay, blue and crimson make purple. Black on top of that purple makes Paint with Josh plaque, a very purplish, blackish color. God, that's so neat looking. You guys, remember, if you like this one, this is what we do for a living. I sell these paintings live during the shows, hopefully, most times live during the shows. And that way, if you get it during the live show, you also get a free gift off the spinny winny wheel. Let's get back here. Get a little smaller little guy right there, right? Kind of popping up above our forest in the background and then sitting well below it. As we come in here, we're just hitting it with the corner of the brush, getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we go down. You know what I mean? Popping out little branchies, little things here, there, and everywhere. They don't have to be symmetrical or equal or whatever, honestly. It's however you feel like it should look that day, right? You want it to be big and fat and chunky? It totally can be. Let it grow down a little lower than you think you might need, and let's show you why. Okay? Since all of our light is coming off this way, we're going to pull this guy backwards, okay? Taking his front side and just very lightly pulling off on that side, feeding more of that white snow back. There, you can get that shadow to kind of look like it's behind your tree that way, right? The more you change, you can change your angle on the shadow. You can pull it a bit harder. You can do whatever you want to do, right, to get it to fade away. Very cool. Very cool. Now, let's get in here with another one. And we'll scoot over a little bit. We'll come up a little higher. We'll go straight down and right there. Come in here and start popping in little things, getting further and further away from the edge, or the center anyway, as you get down to the bottom, right? Further and further away from the center. Being smaller on the top, bigger on the bottom. You know what I mean? Very cool. Now again, you decide where it lives by where you grab it at the base. Okay? If you take it a certain way or a certain grab from a certain spot, it's going to look a certain way, right? So you're in control of where these things are gripping and showing in your scene. There. Ooh, that's fabulous, right? Brush out anything that's down here a little firmer, a little bit more firmly than anything else. Dude, dudes. I like him. He's cool. So, again, we've got enough room. Maybe we come over here. We get a little bit bigger. We drop down a monster size one. Just enormous. Okay. Remember, the tree trunk is just there as a guideline. You don't have to show the whole thing. You don't have to, you don't have to cover it. I tend to cover mine because I don't like light showing through my branches of my tree. I just like nice and full and covered. You know what I mean? So up to you and how you like yours, but as long as we're blacking out everything else behind this tree, right? And then it's going to stand out as being the closest thing to us down here, especially if it's sitting very low and it's the tallest thing out there. That's going to indicate to me that we're a little closer than the rest of the trees, right? You can see it a little bit better. So now again, we've come down a little bit further than we need to so that we can take the base, slide it down and out, or push that snow back up towards it, and then pull it off in this back direction. Again, meeting it like a little check mark. Right? That'll help your tree look a little bit more 3D. Now, if we need to, you can always go back in and add that brightness wherever you want it to be. So if you need your snow to be brighter, you can do it afterwards. It doesn't have to be bright before, right? Just like that. Oh, man, that's cool. Look at the differences in the stripes and stuff. That's fabulous. Now, we've got one more tree to make. The biggest monster over here. And it doesn't even have to be that big, honestly. It can just be out there, right? We could do one of those little mushy trees where you mush on the whole thing like a big bush and then do different things out there, or you can just launch in maybe a little guy that looks like this. Pop him down from there, down into the bottom, okay? That way we know where we can pull away from. Get up here, tap on our little branchies, and as they start getting bigger and bigger, they separate, get further away from the trunk. Right? Sometimes having to go 1 or 2 taps just to get it to extend out, right? Very cool. Again, grab him and then decide where he lives. Where is he sitting up here? Right? How far does it get to grow down? Very cool, you guys. That is fantastic. My word. Okay, we are going to need to put in one big old stick of a tree or something that lives right over here, right through the moon and yeah, through the mountain and everything. Unless somebody gets this one and tells me not to do it, that's going to be the plan. So make sure that you've got enough paint to make a big old stick ready. Because we're going to launch it out, man. It's going to be fabulous. Now remember, if you like this one and you don't want me to touch it anymore, you just want to have it just how it is, or maybe highlight these trees and leave it without some big old monster stick, then you got to purchase it before I get there and tell me to stop. Tell me to stop. Let's see. Katie, Alexa, Interstellar Retreat. That's a cool one. That is a cool one. Katie's a longtime viewer, follower. I treat her like my little sis. Actually, I treat her better than my little sister. I'm mean to my little sister. And Katie, I'm nice to. I just feel like she's where I was as far as like streaming and building her audience like 5 years ago, where I was. You know what I mean? So I have that like soft spot, like, okay, I know where you're at. I know what you've been through so far, and I know what you have to look forward to if you continue along this path of making videos and doing live shows and stuff like that, because we've been doing it for a long time. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's actually done live shows longer than me, right? Like, sure, there's other people. Kevin Hill's been painting for longer. Bram's been painting for longer. I'm sure that old Paintings by Justin guy, he was going live before I started. But I think I've streamed more than any painter in history. We do like we don't do edited shows. We do live shows. I don't try to like just paint a painting and then have it come out perfect, because you do want this one. It's right there on the homepage. The mods will have to tell you how to get there. Shit, what was I saying? What was I just saying? Just now. Literally, you weren't paying attention? London. London. What, guys, what was I just saying?
Show up trees.
No, what was I just saying? Anybody in the comments remember what I just said? Like literally just one word might bring it back to my memory. Anyone? Street. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate it. So I don't think anyone else has streamed more than us, right? Like no one else has done more than 1,000 live shows online. You know what I mean? So we've got the most experience streaming anyway. But yeah, okay, let's highlight this little guy. We're going to get a smaller brush than we used to make our highlights. At least I like to do that. And this is the reason, okay? I'm a human. You're human, I think, anyway. London, we know she's not, but in any case. Oh, no, yeah, no. But I'm a human, right? I'm going to make a mistake. That's the whole point. That's why I say that. Because I'm going to make a mistake. Right now, I'm going to make a mistake. It's going to be bigger than I want it to be. I'm going to accidentally hit the canvas with too much pressure or whatever it is, right? In order to make this mistake. But if I do that with a smaller brush, then that mistake is going to be more manageable. I'll be able to save it. It won't be so noticeable, right? If we're doing it with a smaller brush. If I make that same mistake with a bigger brush, it's going to cover the tree, right? Because that bigger brush would be the same size as the shape we used initially, and that's going to cover the entire tree, and I don't want that. My goal here is to cover little bits of the tree. And so if we use a littler brush, a little baby brush, then we're going to put on less splotches, right? Less mistakes, or at least more manageable mistakes with a smaller brush. So I always switch to a smaller brush when I go to do the highlights. And it's for good reason, because we're human, man. We're going to mess up. We're going to make one too big or too small or whatever, right? And if we do that with a brush that is too large, it's going to make a mistake that you cannot come back from, right? But if you're doing it with a brush that is much smaller, maybe half or maybe 1/3 or 1/4 the size of the brush that we had used to actually make the shape of the tree, then our mistake, quote unquote, is going to be more manageable. We'll be able to do more things with our mistake. Hello, yeah, guys, was that this painting? Was that this painting over here? Yeah, who got this one, you guys? That is cute, man. I like it. Over here, I'm waiting for it to populate a name that I can't say. Hey, that's cool. I thought I saw that name in TikTok. Yeah, Byron right there. So Byron went over and grabbed this painting, guys. That means we get to do a wicked awesome light party, and we get to do an RGB party, and Byron gets to spin the spinny winny wheel of destiny. Speaking of which, go ahead. Is it not Byron? That's Brian. I have really bad dyslexia, Byron. Byron, I have terrible dyslexia and such. So, excuse me, Byron.
It's like
the Baron of Byron's red
Brian is here.
Red Byron pizza. It's Byron. I'm not calling him anything else but Byron. Byron over here. I told you we don't use real names. So Byron, thank you. I appreciate you. Seriously. Seriously, you got a good one, dude, because I was going to pull this one out and keep it for my own selvesies at home. Byron does not want a big tree? Okay. So if Byron would like to keep it this way, we can keep it this way, 100%, right? We'll get over here. Again, start popping off. Stay on the outside. Outside first. Outside, 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 outside. See that gap in between? Outside edge. Then come into the inside. It's more fun that way. Over here, tapping over there, and boom. Amazing, right? Couple little splotches of your white paint make just a cool effect that you get this wicked looking tree out here. Right? And those don't even need to go all the way to the bottom because his little tree friend is blocking him. If you get too many bright spots at the bottom, just go back and tap them out, right? It's up to us. We get to decide, guys. We're in the control seat, my friends. Fabulous. Dudes, look at it. Look at it. Now, let's get down here. A little bit more of our liquid white and our titanium white in about a 50-50 mix. Just right on the brush, right? We're not sitting here mixing it. There's no specific ratio that you can like mix up in a bowl. You know what I mean? It's just whatever works, however it looks. Right? It's all about the look of it. Because when you're mixing it up, you're going to look at it and go, okay, that worked last time, so that's the kind of consistency that I want, right? Or this didn't work last time, so this next time we need to make it a little bit more wet or whatever, so that it will deposit off of the brush a lot easier, right? That's all it's about, is making the paint come off of the brush with the smallest touch. And the only way to do that is to have that right ratio of paint, right? If we don't have the right ratio, then we're going to push too hard. If we push too hard, we're going to make too big of a splotch, or we're going to smush something together, right? And when you're smushing together, then that's going to cause an issue. Bring your brightness over across your shadowy side just every so often, literally. Every so often, a couple little bits, nothing's out there, perfect, right? Just so it just kind of Z patterns all the way down. Take our last touch of titanium white out there. Come in here and just pop in just a little verticality, a little bit of trunk that you can look in and see, right? Not all of them are positioned in the same spot. You definitely don't want them to just be straight across, right? So I don't want to put one here and then go directly across and put another one right there. You want to stagger them. So here, there, 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 right? Very cool. And you don't even have to do them for every tree. You don't have to do everything. Remember, guys, we've got more than just this one as well, waiting for you, looking for a new home over there. All you got to do is go check it out. This one's already gone, but you can find others. If you go over to PaintWithJosh.com, find them. Now, that one came out fabulously. Excellently, right? Amazingly. There we go. Pop in a little bit of snow back here and just blend it. The cool thing about snow, right, is that it doesn't just have to be one color or the other. If there's a little difference in the color, it will look like a drop down or a little sunken area or a little shadowy spot or whatever, right? It doesn't always have to all be the same. It doesn't have to be the same white. It doesn't all have to be the same amount of brightness or anything. That's the cool part about it. Now, let's grab our liner brush. What we're going to do for old Byron over here, because Byron, he's my guy. No, it's Byron. I'm going to take a couple little bits, like little, I don't know, little something, little branches, little things kind of growing out of my snow down here. And we need it to be wet enough so that they come out and drop onto the canvas easily, right? If I go out there and I push too hard, it's going to be too big. It's going to have too big of a splotch to manage, right? So we'll get these guys, we'll swipe them out. Just a couple weird little things out there for Byron to check out. Just very small little details. Fabulous. Yeah, guys. That one came out excellently. So, Byron, my friend, we're gonna pop in the space birds real quick. All right, so we'll get the space birds out there flying through. And then you've got to come up with a title for this painting, okay? Dude, we can even put the birds flying right through the forest right here. Nobody would expect them there. There. All right, I'm just going to go, let's go, you know, if we do them across the moon, we might lose them. I don't want to do them directly above the center of my mountaintop. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking over here. And we'll just, and if any of you guys are like stellar nerds out there, did anyone notice that we painted Orion's belt pointing directly at Sirius, which is the brightest star in the night sky? Anyone, or am I just a big nerd? Oh, screw you, London. Let's get over here. I am not a nerd. I'm pretty much a nerd. See, we're even going to paint the birds in the reverse of the Orion's belt lineup, or whatever the hell you would call it. Fabulous. Okay, this one came out amazing. Remember, we got some wicked cool paintings over on my site, right? Everybody knows how to get there. It's just my name. My name's PaintWithJosh. And then you put the little period and then the comma after it, right? Pretty easy to get to. We also have a redirect site that is 3 W's and then a period, just like every website ever. And then you put PWJ, put the period again, which is, you know, dot, and then put info. And that'll take you directly over to my official place, right? Because we're on TikTok, you have to be careful about what you say. If you say, you know, if I was to go TikTok.com, but not say that, like say something else and then use that ending, then they tell you like, hey, you know, we're going to violate you for that. That we're not going to show your show to anybody because of what you're saying. So you have to be very careful about what you say. It's almost like you're talking to like a 4-year-old that you can't tell anything to. You don't want them to know anything about the world. You don't want them to have any information. And so you have to speak in a way to where you don't say certain things. It's ridiculous. It's honestly like, I mean, you know, freedom of speech, like what is that? I don't know. But me, you'll never really hear me swear, right? So I mean, I could understand it if it was, you know, like a bunch of kids were watching and you wanted to control, you know, the language coming out of certain things, but like we do painting tutorials, guys. Like, ooh, let's call it inner. Well, thanks, Katie. Okay, I bet you she's not even here anymore. Bet you she dipped out. She's probably all finished with her painting show and cleaning up. You know what I mean? She better still be here, Katie. You better, you better say something, Katie. Oh, she's here. Look at, see, she's my fave. She's my favesies. Thank you, Casey. That's why she's my little sis. That's why I'm nicer to her than my little sis. Anyway, in my real life little sister, who I hope is not watching right now. But in any case, thank you for staying, Katie. You're awesome. You inspired this person to grab this painting based off of your wicked awesome title. Now, guys, remember, can we pin Katie, mods? Can we pin her to the top and then keep an eye on the title because I'm going to need that pin by the time I need it. But can everybody give Katie a follow? Just give her a follow. She does some really cool stuff. She's been playing around with like glow-in-the-dark paints and fluorescent stuff. Like she's literally me 4 years ago. Like everything she does, I did. You know what I mean? I know. It's like I see myself. So if you can, give her a follow. Follow all my mods, right? Of course. And let's see. Let's see. My little sister right now. Well, hopefully she's not watching. If so, then, you know, she knows I'm mean. I've been mean to her. Well, we've been mean to each other our whole lives. I don't know what it's about, but yeah, it's fabulous. Okay. What are we going to call it again? So everybody follow Katie. Thank you guys for pinning the title and having it be Katie as well so that we can get people to give her a follow over there. But Katie, how many followers are you up to now over on here on TikTok? Anybody? Anybody? Let's see. I think it's a sibling thing. I agree, right? Are you mean to your brother or sister? I would figure sisters would be nice to each other. But I think it was also like the time difference between me being born and my sister being born 6 years later. There was just too big of a time gap between it for us to like do anything. You know what I mean? Like we never went to the movie. We didn't hang out. Like I always had, you know, my older friends and she always had her dumb little friends. So anyone else? Let's see, 8,500-ish. Oh, I was like, what? You've done that many paintings? You don't have more paintings than me. No, you're talking about followers. Excellent. That's awesome. So everybody give Katie a follow. This one is number 2245. Calling it what now? Interstellar Retreat. Interstellar Retreat. Okay. Don't look at my spelling or my penmanship. It's awful. Painted on 1/18/2026. And we're all going to go check out this place. This is where you want to go. If you want to find anything to do with Paint with Josh, my paintings, my prints, my posters, bags, anything right here, right? Paint with Josh, blank, blank. Same thing you would put at the end of every site, anywhere that you ever went to. Fabulous. Look at this one, you guys. That one came out amazing. Yes. Man alive. Look at it. Oof. I love the... This is all Terry right here. Is Terry watching? Is Terry here? Terry, my dude, right? This lake idea was all Terry. He did it in my black and white Mount Hood scene, which has Mount Hood, then some forest, then a bit of snow, then forest, and then snow again, right? He took the snow in between and made it a lake. I was like, why didn't I think of that? That looks cool. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to do that now. Because when I'm thinking lake, I don't picture anything else in front of it. Now I do. After seeing him do it and after painting it, now I can picture more than just bushes in the front, right? Normally when we have a lake, you're doing your mountain and your details back here, and then you got like a couple bushes and a couple big trees in the front, right? Look what we can do now. Just from seeing it from Terry. Is he here? Terry! I am Optimus Prime. Terry! Anybody? Sit. Sit. Terry! He's in Tennessee, so, you know, if I yell loudly enough, I'm sure we could reach Tennessee. I'm pretty sure. Like, positive. Maybe. Okay. So, age difference between me and my sister is 19 years. Goodness, she basically has two moms. Basically, right? Like, if you're already 19 and you just have a baby sister or baby, like, my mom was 17 when she had me. Well, 18 by the time that I came out, but you know what I mean? You basically have two moms your whole life, which is terrible. I can't see any other way of it being good. You're being told by your mom to do something, and then you're being told by your older sister something that your mom already told you to do that you don't plan on doing anyway. And now older sister's going to run back and tell mom, and then you really got to do it. Like, I'm in Tennessee and I heard you. See, Trishina Georgina is in Tennessee and she heard me yell for Terry. So, well, that bums me out that Terry's not here because I totally stole his idea and it came out fantastic. So let's do the RGB party real quick. We'll do the light party and then we'll do the spinny winny wheel at the very end. Speaking of light party, let's do that first. Let's do the old light party. So here's your flash warning, okay? I'm going to take flashing lights and subject them to the painting, which is going to make it flash and look all crazy on our screens, right? So if you're sensitive to that flashiness, look away from your phone for the next 10 to 20 seconds. I'll tell you it's okay to look back when it is okay. If you're going to stay for the light party, there are a few things I need you to do. Legally, by typing in I'm ready, you're giving up all liability against PaintWithJosh LLC in case you do have a stroke. Okay. Secondly, as soon as you type in the words I'm ready and hit send, I want you to close your eyes. Close them. Close them tight. And only open them when you hear me say light party. Okay, so type in the words I'm ready. You got to keep it open, right? Keep your eyes open so you can see the letters. But as soon as you type in I'm ready, close your eyes, okay? Shut them down. And then when you hear me go light party, then you open them, okay? But it's only after you type in the words I'm ready and you shut your eyes. And I got to turn this whole light away. There we go. Okay, so we got a lot of I'm readies. I hope everyone's eyes are shut because here it comes in 3, 2, 1. Now, what's standing out the most for you? What flashes? The black hole, the mountain itself, the trees, the snow, the planets, the stars twinkling in the sky. What is it for you that lights up the most, right? You tell us right now. I'm going to try to read some comments. Let's see. We got the mountain. I feel it. Anyone else? Anyone else out there? The planets. I like that. Right, the black hole in the mountains. I feel you. Oh, I got the hiccups now for some reason. Fabulous. The black hole was the first thing to catch my eye as well. So now we're back to normal lighting conditions, everybody. Welcome back. You can now look back at your screen. Okay, what we're going to do now is something we call the RGB party, meaning we're going to put solid red light, solid green light, and then solid blue light on the canvas. It's going to change the look only momentarily, and all I need you to do is just type in which color you liked best, red, green, or blue. We're going to go red in 3, 2, 1, red. Oh, look at it. It's just the devil's seascape out there, or mountainscape. I get so used to saying seascape. Look at that, though. Wow. Okay, here it comes in green in 3, 2, 1, green. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Look at that thing. That's amazing. Look at it. It's literally amazing, right? We're going to go blue in 3, 2, blue. Oh, it's just, that is some nighttime painting right there. That is a nighttime scene if we've ever seen it. So what are your favorite colors, red, green, or blue, as we bring it back to normal lighting condition? There, we'll put our big old bright light over here back so we can see what the painting looks like. Excellent. That's why when I leave, I have a headache. It's like I'm staring into the sun. Okay, So we had a really cool title. We did the RGB. We did the light party. Now we need to do the spinny winny wheel for Byron. Byron, my friend. His name's Byron London. Don't do that. Okay, let's get over here. And as you can see, the last person to spin the spinny winny wheel hit the grand prize. So Brian, my friend, could be the next. And whatever it lands on is what you're going to get by the time that we finish spinning. We'll even give you a good luck little, one more little, right there. Ready? Here we go. Please don't land on the ground. Don't land on the grand prize. Don't land on the grand prize. Please, I can't afford it. Don't. Okay, cool. Yes. Okay. You won a Paint with Josh snapback hat, which is one of the ones that I wear, right? You can't, I mean, if you wanted this one, you'd be pretty gross, but it's very similar to these. They are snapback. You can bend them because they come very flat, and I hate the flat look, right? I do not like that for hats for me. So I always bend it because I'm a dad. Got to have the rounded bill, but they're awesome. You can get them in black and gray, black and teal, all white, all black, all green, all red, black and purple, black and yellow, black and orange, black and red, all sorts of different colors and patterns available. Depends on what you like to wear the most. Yay, the hat. Of course, everyone loves the Paint with Josh hats. So Byron, let me tell you how to redeem your hat that you just won, okay? You just won a hat, but I don't have a whole, warehouse full of hats that I can just go grab and stick with your painting when I send it out. It's going to come from a factory, okay? So what I need you to do is go back to the website, scroll to the bottom, find the contact us function, send me an email, say, hey, I'm Byron, and if you don't put Byron, I'm not going to respond. No. Right. If it doesn't say Byron, you better go make a new Gmail right now. So you send me the email, and then you say, hey, I'm Byron. I won or I bought the painting tonight, and I won one of your hats. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Here's the code. I'll send you back a coupon code. You go back to the site, pick whatever hat you want, put it in your cart, go to checkout, put the code in, makes the hat free, and then you just pay like the $4.95 or whatever it is for the shipping, and they'll send it out to you as soon as it's ready as a thank you for making the show a lot better. And fabulous. I love it. Everyone loves when the painting goes during the show. It becomes a more fun. We get to do the light party. We get to do the RGB. You get to see more of Josh as I hang out longer on your screen. Speaking of, God, it's time to go home and get Bailey ready for school tomorrow. So you guys have been fantastic. I can't wait to see your versions of this same painting. I do have videos that show you how to make planets like this, and black holes. I have all those, literally. I have a how-to playlist that'll show you how to make your planet like that. I've got full-length videos that'll show you from the start how we did the black hole like that. And then other videos that'll show you how to make cracked planets, right? And if not, you just do this and leave a gap at a couple little bits going off the edge. Pretty simple. So beyond that, you guys have been fantastic. Can't wait to see your version. Send it in to facebook.com/official PaintWithJosh. And until we see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And bow. Well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out PaintWithJosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys again next time, take care.